Joining us now from Washington is Colby May. Colby is a distinguished attorney, litigator for the American Center for Law and Justice. And Colby, what do you think the effect of Enda is going to be on Christian organizations?
Well, Pat, I think it's going to be very large, and it's going to be large for basically two simple reasons. First, Christian organizations remain on the front line of the culture wars. And second, the bill creates a unique opportunity for those who file complaints under Enda to recover attorney's fees for administrative hearings. Now, previously, that's never been allowed. It isn't allowed for race or gender-based discrimination. But you're now going to create a special, shall we say, incentive for these kind of lawsuits to go forward. So employers everywhere now are going to have to be very, very careful, because you may find yourself having to pay for the administrative costs of the litigation that's brought against you now under this bill. So it's a real challenge for employers, Christian particularly, but all employers generally.
Well, that'll fatten the coffers of left-wing legal groups enormously. There'll be millions of dollars at stake.
Well, there's no question about that, Pat. In fact, remember that the EEOC, which administers and will administer Enda if it passes, currently can conduct an investigation and render a decision without actually having to give you the reasons or the explanations for it, or cite to the record upon which they base their decision. And it's also not a final decision for purposes of appeal. So you now find yourself having to pay for the cost of a procedure which didn't actually exhaust due process. So it's not like a court or a judge ordering the fees. It's simply that the EEOC decided, okay, you seem to have probable cause to go forward with an action. And so employers really are going to find that their back pockets are going to be subsidizing the opportunity for those who believe that they have been discriminated against, either in terms of their gender identity or their sexual orientation.
What's the chance of blocking this thing? Is it on a steamroller? It's going through with Barney Frank leading the way?
Well, in the House side, that seems to certainly be the case. George Miller, a Democrat from California, heads the Labor and Education Subcommittee committee that's dealt with this already, had their hearings, and they want to move it forward. So it's up to Speaker Pelosi as to when she thinks she's got the votes to do it. The Senate side is going to be a little more trouble. They only have about 12 sponsors on the Senate version of Enda, and over there, they focused on this shared facilities problem. The shared facility is that somebody who proclaims that they're now going through a gender identity transition. I'm a male, I'm now becoming a female, and they then have to use shared facilities like locker rooms or changing rooms or shower rooms and the like. And I think people get it. They realize that's when the rubber hits the road, and they're very, very concerned about what that actually means. So there's some slowdown to really evaluate that. But look, we just saw what happened in the health care bill, and there's no doubt that if the Democrats really coalesce behind this and intend to shove it down the American people's throat, they'll do it.
You know, Colby, is there enough intestinal fortitude among the Republicans to filibuster this thing?
An important question, Pat. I think that there are clearly members of the Senate that understand the unique problems this poses. For Christian employers, yes, but for all employers more generally. And they are wanting to make sure that the expansion of 2 new classes under Title VII for being able to bring discrimination claims is not just done because you're trying to perform a kind of political patronage towards a group that's largely funded you and provided a great deal of opportunity for you to advance other social agendas. So I think they're there. You know, whether or not any have yet announced, the answer is no, they have not. So that remains to be seen. And from your lips to heaven's ears, as my grandmother used to say, perhaps there's one out there that'll hear and respond.
Colby May, thank you very much.